Alright, here we go. We got a McCulloch MAC 3200. I picked this up on Marketplace. Actually, it's been a couple weeks when I bought it. The gentleman said he had it for a couple years now. It's been thanks, so shot. A couple years it's been in storage. He doesn't need it anymore, and he said last time he had it running, the only issue was the primer. Said he kept it stored with no fuel in it, no bar oil in it. It turns over, feels like it's got good compression. So we'll take a look at it. These ones. They got some years on them. This one said it was manufactured between 1995 and 1998. But if you look on the bottom right here, it has a manufacture date of June 29th, 1998. That's inspection sticker anyway. So we'll go with that. So it's roughly, we'll just say 1998. The other thing that is odd is if you look up here, if I can get it to focus in on it, it's which I'm sure they're probably similar enough to, it doesn't really make a difference, but if you go off of your main label up here on top, it has all your info on it. If I can get it right, if it's picking it up, and here it says 38cc. It has your engine information. It's where it says it's manufactured between 95 and 98, and all your basic info on it. Now if you look down where your pull string is here, it reads 32cc. So one or the other, 32cc, 38cc, and yeah, the other label it doesn't say. It just says it's a Mini Pro, and it can take a bar from 10-inch up to 16-inch from the factory. So this has got the small one on it. It's like, I think this one's the 12-inch, I believe, 12 or 14. So the only way I know, I have no clue if it runs, but so what we're going to do, naturally, before we do anything, is prime it through the carb, because there's definitely no way to prime it there. So my guess is if that primer is that far gone, and this thing as old as it is, the fuel lines are probably gone as well. It's almost a guarantee, but we'll see. You never know, I guess. These ones, if I remember correctly, easiest way to do them if the fuel lines are gone is to separate the case. You can completely access the fuel tank. Now if I get the screws out, I should have grabbed the star bit. These ones, I believe if you have a star bit, I believe it's a T25. That'd be the easiest way to go. And let's see what we got. The choke lever. Oh yeah, sure enough. See if I can get it where you guys can see in there. The fuel lines are definitely gone. This should be the top of our carb. Actually, taking this off probably won't get you in there any farther, but I'll have to take it off so we can prime it. But oh yeah, I'll get it out of there. Yeah, the fuel line's in like 3 pieces. I have a little bit of something on it. Seems like a little bit of bad gas, but don't want to lose that. Choke lever. So there's what we have for fuel line going from the primer to the carb to the tank. It's in chunks, which is kind of what I was expecting. So, well, we'll prime it. Dang, man. Yeah, at least everything seems to be moving. Alright, we'll shoot it with some juice. We on? Yep, we're on. Chokes bars released. Probably just flooded the crap out of it. Alright, see what we get here. Hopefully it kicks off. Choke her a little bit. is on, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's got fire. There we go, we know it runs. So since we know it runs, it makes it worth the time to throw some fuel lines in it. So we'll get it inside and do that. But I'm pretty sure on this one, it's all your screws. It'll be on this side of the saw. You remove, I believe it's the bar, your pull string lever, and the case separates and it gives you full access to the front where your tank is at. So we'll get it in there, get it apart, and see what we got. Alright, so here we go. So what we got to do is I'll take the cover off, which we just had off, which should be, I think these are the, let me check, I'll check real quick. Yeah, it's a T25 star bit. I'll start getting everything apart. Oh, wrong way, dummy. Apart here. Of course, these are all loose from what we was just outside. And we'll worry about getting the carb off afterwards. So the main thing now is to get this side piece off. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 screws counting the handle. So we gotta get our side cover off. It's got 4 screws right here. This will be your pull string. Get it off, set it aside. I know a lot of people aren't real big fans of this style McCulloch. I mean, personally, it doesn't matter to me. I just enjoy working on them, so personal preference, I reckon. There we go. Takes care of that. So then we got your oil cap here. It'll have to come off once you get these screws out. Go ahead and get the handle real quick. Get in there, bro. Actually look like they have Loctite. Should come right loose. There we go. That takes care of that. I'm going to start going around the edges, getting our screws. I know I had a couple of the refurb deals. A lot of people say they refurbished and then called them Eager Beavers or something, or they was Eager Beavers and went bad and they refurbished them and then threw the McCulloch name on them. This one I don't think it's going to fit on. No, I got a, here it is. Little extension piece with that on it. See if it'll fit now. Hopefully it'll fit. If not, I'll have to get a wrench. There we go. That should be it. See if we're loose. Crazy dog. Oh, oil fill cap. That's for your chain. Get it off. Now the other thing is we have to check the line for the that goes from the tank for the oiling system. There we go. It's a possibility that it could need replaced as well. Now, our wires, here's one. Come on, little man. Is that switch? There it is. Oh no, that one's fixed. So that one we have to slide off the coil. Maybe. There we go. Okay. Got one fuel line left on. Shot, so we'll just go ahead and cut it. Okay. So now we should have access. If I can get it where you guys can see it. Your tank is right here on the other side of the flywheel. Hopefully it'll pop right out. Nope. What you doing, boy? No, it will not. I don't know, those other ones, they popped out. I guess I'm mistaken. So, get some light on that where you guys can see. So your lines, there's two small holes. I'll probably have to get some more light on this for you guys to see, but oh, definitely. But there's two small holes right there for your fuel lines, your main line, and your return. Let's see what we can do here. Try to get this on there and at least show you, and I'll have to hunt down another light source, but so you can see them there sticking out of the tank. So the top one I'd use as the return, and the bottom one I'm going to run as my main fuel line. And 'cause it looks like they're the same diameter. So get those out of the way. Probably have to go through the top and pull the access pieces out. And we'll see what the tank looks like, and then it may need flushed. But if it needs flushed, I'll flush it. But there we go, it's that easy. And then you can take the cover off right here on your carburetor and access your carb a little better. But once you do, you take those two screws out, your carburetor is going to be loose from the housing, so you got to be careful there. So but you got one that comes around this way, and the other one's up underneath this cover. So get this part, narrow down what size line we need, and then we'll pick it up. Alright, I see your two holes. You got your upper and your lower. If I can make sure you guys can see that. So you got your upper and your lower here. You also have these two notches. So you have a notch up here at the top, you got a notch at the bottom. So after you put these lines in, and trust me, this happens. I got a chainsaw one time dirt cheap because of this. So when these lines are set in place, when you have them in the tank, you want to make sure that they're in those notches right there. So when this case goes back together, you're not pinching your fuel lines. Because I've had them before. It was a different style, but it's the same concept, and they went down instead of straight forward, and that was the whole problem, was that people got tired of messing with it. They had it pinched between the case, so the primer didn't work, and it did not get any fuel line. So my main fuel line, I'm going to run into the bottom, and I do it the same way I always do. Always thin it out a little bit to get it started. And if I can get in here without getting in your guys' way, I don't have any. Easiest way to do it is if you have like a touch of grease or some 2-cycle. Actually, it might be enough bar oil in here. Maybe I can get it in there. You just want to get it to where it slickens up a little bit. Helps it slide down through the plastic of the fuel tank. So I'll see if I can get rocket. What are you doing, buddy? I don't know if I can see it to do it, but let you guys at least get the concept of how it works. So that's the top hole. So what you do is just get it started. I'm going to go and put this one in the lower hole, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we'll say it's in. If we're using that for our return line, you can get it in, and then you take the cap off and you draw it through, but that's how it wants to, you got to have it in that notch like that. So when you're done, you put the other side on, nothing's getting pinched between and cutting you off. So the top one will actually be my return. The bottom one, if I can, I got a bad shadow on there and I can't see it. But there we go, it went. So the bottom one will be same way, it'd be like that. So that's in the bottom notch. And so the way I always do it, I'll get them started like so. Paint it out a little bit. And then go down through the fuel line, or take the fuel cap off. And let me get some light here. Get a hold of it. And I cannot see. There we go. Get it started. And so all you do is just keep drawing it in like so. Yep, and it started. So then all you do is just draw it in. This is the main fuel line. So what we're going to do is draw it all the way in to where it's close to the bottom of your tank. Once you got it to the height or to the length that you want it for the bottom of the tank, you pull it up and out. And then, I don't know if I got that's good, but you pull it up and out. A pair of scissors or something, cut it flush like it is on this end, put your fuel filter on it, and just push it right back down into the tank. And then you want to do your upper one the same way. I always just thin them out, put a little bit of oil on it, get it started. Now your return line, I only run them in about a ½ an inch or so. It doesn't have to go to the bottom, just going about a ½ an inch, 3/4 of an inch, because all it's doing is just, when you're priming it, it's just shooting the excess fuel back into the tank for you. And that's it for that. So I'll get these installed. I won't hold you up with that. And I'll get these installed, and then we'll take a look at it and see what we got. Alright, so we got our lines ran into the tank. Main fuel lines hooked up. The two you see there are split. There's our primer lines. You got one going the farthest one away. Here is one going to the tank. That's where the fuel goes in. This is the lower one where it draws the fuel through the carb when you prime it. Now here's your primer. This one has this basic style. It has the 2 snaps. In mine's case anyway, it has the 2 snaps. And if I can, there it is. There's a little, not all of them have it, but a lot of them you'll see a little like notch right there by the line. You'll have short tube, long tube. The short tube should be the one that draws the fuel through the system. If you put a piece of line on it, you can feel it pulling on your finger. So that's the side you want your short tube running to the carburetor. Your long tube runs back into the tank. And on your side of your case, it's pretty basic. This one should have a notch in it. You'll see here, I can get it up here in the light. Here we go. Right here you can see right at the top up there you'll see a notch, which is on mine is the short side. Is where my notch is at. Get it up here, it'll pop right in for you. Get it over here where I can see. There we go. Right in. Everything's working. So that's pretty much it. So now it's reassembling the way we disassembled it. So we'll just take the case, the side of the case. You want to get your lines. Mine's case, I put the 2 screws back in the carb just to kind of hold it in place. So I can get this up here. I've got the oil-filled tube. or the oil cap anyway, for the bore oil. Get it out of the way. You kind of slide it up here. Give yourself a guesstimate of how long you're going to need them, which mine are probably entirely too long. You can't have them too long, or you can get a kink in them. Too short, obviously they won't be long enough, so you got to find a kind of a happy medium there. Which this one's case, you got to get it in that notch, and once it goes in the notch, it has to turn. So this one, get it up there. I can probably knock a little bit off of it. You just don't want to take too much. And the one coming from the carb. That should be really close. Maybe take a hair off of it. That should be it. So we should be good to go. And but while it's apart, want to check, flip it up on its side here. Get that back on so you don't get no oil. Then you have the tube for your oiling system. If I can get you in on that. You want to make sure it's intact. And simple, easy to replace if not. So I do them the same way I do the fuel lines. So you can see it there. That one looks like it's in place. Get some of the dust off of it and see what we got. And all that chainsaw dust. So what you want to do is we'll get some of this out of the way. Just to see how it looks. Just want to make sure if it looks like oil has been seeping around it. This one, it's kind of hard to judge. It looks like everything is technically kind of damp, but the line still feels good and tight. I have had them, I've got them, and they got rid of them because of leaking oil. They thought it was a seal, but it ended up being a line like this. This one, it is brittle. There we go. So I have to change it. It's the same way. You can see there, it's just brittle. Old, this thing's got some years on it, so no big deal. Easy to do. You'll have your nipple piece right here. And just same way as the fuel lines, it just runs. Throw that in the trash. Just want to get any sawdust you have. Try to get everything, knocked a little bit in, but I'm going to try to get everything away from that hole. Do like I done. I just knocked a little bit in there. But just clean all that up. You just need a piece of line. That one's too big. Yeah, right size for the nipple. Apparently it's the perfect size for the nipple. Looks like it's going to be too big around, so you have to find a line. I have no clue what size it takes, but you could probably Google it. I just have a bunch of it because we work on so much stuff, and I always get lucky and have the right size. Wow, man, that sucker really fits. I wish it went in and fit that hole, but I might be able to get it to. We'll try it. So you can see there about how long we'll need it. So the problem I got is I have to judge it. So we need it just where it gets inside the tank, but I'm going to need enough. I'm sure there's a lot better way to be doing this, but I'm kind of in a pinch. So let's see if we can get that dude to pop in there. Yeah, there we go. I just got lucky. So there we go. It's good and solid. So that takes care of that. One less hassle. So there you go. That's how you do that. So now, the only thing left to do is reassemble it. Reassemble the same way you disassembled. So now we have a new line on the oil can, fuel filter, 2 new fuel lines, a new primer. So it might be a little bit of a fight getting it together. I mean, because sometimes it can be a bear with, you're probably going to lie, sometimes it can be a bear with getting your primer lines in. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Some people will hook up, take the primer, leave the primer off, run the lines through the side of the plastic, hook the primer up, and then pop it back in. I've done that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. It just personal preference, but I'll give it a shot this way because I still got to hook the coil lines and for the coil wires that back up. I had my throttle piece came off, so I got to hook that up. But we get it reassembled, and I'll let you know which way worked best. And once we get it reassembled, we can try to fire it up. Alright, in the process of putting it back together, going over everything, you can see the line right there. It fell out of the notch, and I didn't know it. Tightened everything up, started going over the throttle assembly, make sure everything was working right. Gave it a glance before screwing everything down on the top, and sure enough, pinched the line. So no big deal, it's not the end of the world. All you got to do is just loosen your screws up on your case, and then just loosen your screws up, get the slack in it, go in, put your line back in the groove, tighten your case back up, and you should be good to go. So as I say, it happens. It happens, and what more can I say can happen to anybody? All right, we'll get that fixed, and then I'll show you how I done the primer. All right, the primer. A lot of them I'm able to get. I can clip the primer in and just run the lines. This one was pretty tight, so the best option for me was to get the lines to where I needed them to be, and it made up the hanging out the side. So with the hanging out the side, just line it up, which the notch is at the top on this one. So you just get it up there, line your notch up. I'll get my hand in there. There we go. So we're good. Primer's all hooked up, so the only thing left now is I'm going to take it outside, see if she'll fire up, get our choke back on, and yeah, see if it runs, see what we got. Hopefully the carb's good. I did take the top when I had took the carburetor out, wiped it down real good. I took the top off so you can see down in the screen. The screen was clear, so it didn't have no debris in it, so I'm hoping we're going to get lucky and have a good carburetor on this thing. So, alright, only thing left, we'll take it outside and try to fire it up. Alright, here we go, so it's make it or break it time. I did leave the top off, choke lever and all that, I got in the bowl, just in case we got to prime it for some reason, and that and the air filter is crap, but here we go. Primer's working. I did flush the tank as well. Alright, we're on. We've choked. Oh, look at that. And don't get too excited, right? Seems to run really good. We'll get that piece of crap out of there. It's going to end up sucking chunks down in the carburetor. If we can get it out. Definitely going to have to get that replaced. And that thing it just falls apart in your fingers. we'll get that out of the way. And say we try getting it on a load, see what it does. The chain fills kind of on the dull side, but let's get her fired back up. Seems to run good. Alright, a little bit of that wood left. See if we can cut a piece up in here. Maybe. Let's see. Camera ain't good. Dull, but man, this thing runs good. So there you go. That's one of our marketplace specials. It didn't come in that bundled deal that I bought, but I bought it. So I bought this a couple weeks ago, and guess he was right. The guy I got it from did say it ran really good. Get this back on so I don't lose nothing. And get online, get an air filter for it. I'm saying, don't be afraid to hop in there and do it yourself. You just got to have a little bit of patience, and as long as you got a little bit of patience, take your time, save yourself some money. Call it a day, you know. I mean, get a Saturday afternoon or something, knock it out. Just figure out, once you narrow down excuse me, once you narrow down what size lines you need, it's a piece of cake. It really is. So I was saying, everything on this was all the screws, they were all the same size. It was a T25 star bit, or you can use a flathead, either one. I prefer the star bits. But that's it, you know. Figure out what size line you need. You can go to, where I used to buy them all the time was mainly Home Depot. You can get those kits. Some of them are a universal kit. It'll come with 2 or 3 different size lines, but they went up in price. I think they're close to $10 now. And some of them will have a different style primer than this one. It has kind of like what you would see on I thought I had one out here I could show you, like you'd see on a weed eater or something like that. Just a little, just a little tiny push ones. Then you can find the ones that's like this that clip in. I found them at Home Depot, Lowe's, and our local Tractor Supply. They used to be like $3 or $4, but of course everything's went up, so I'd count on spending about $10. So you'd have $10 wrapped up in, just 2 lines, primer. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that was with a filter. I think it was $12 with a filter. And a little bit of patience, you have your saw back up and running. I mean, a whole bunch of them, not just this one. You got all kinds of them. It's set up the same way. But thanks for watching. We got us a winner. Man, this thing, it was cheap. I couldn't pass it up, and it's one of those deals where you never know what you're going to get. But the gentleman was right. He told me it ran good. He said it's been setting a couple years, and as far as he knew, it just needed a primer. And definitely can't complain about that. Throw some lines, a filter, and a primer on it, and it runs like a champ. Just have to get an air filter. But thanks for watching, guys. Remember to do it yourself, save yourself some money. Shops aren't cheap.